Hello and welcome to the Doula course. You have just received your kit and I'm going to talk you through it. So it's turned up in the post, that great big heavy bag. You've opened it up and you've pulled out like a gift bag. So what's in the gift bag? Let me talk you through it because there's a few things in there that I wish that I was sitting with you so that I could talk you through it, but this video is going to be the next best thing, isn't it? So let's go with the smallest item first. So it's this notebook. I love notebooks, my God, I love stationery and I love notebooks. Apparently it's a chic thing. So with this notebook, you've got a little pouch at the front where you can actually stick cards and bits of paper that are very important. There's another pouch there. What I do with my notebook is that I put the date and I put a topic, which might be, say, for example, Instagram hashtags that I plan to use or things that I've seen somebody else use and I've gone, oh, wow, that is awesome. So I would do a whole page just on Instagram hashtags that if I've got a mental blank, I'm in a hurry, I'm trying to do an Instagram post and I'm like, oh God, what were those hashtags? I can come back to my notebook and go, right, let's find Instagram hashtags. Oh, there they are. And then quickly grab whatever it is that you need. The other things that you could do, so again, a fresh new page for a fresh new topic. Whatever the topic is, advertising, might be marketing, business idea, something that you've seen another do, somebody you want to network with. Put the date, and if you don't put the date, you can get a bit lost because this is not just about today, this is about next year, 10 years time, and these notebooks can become so treasured when you find out about something, a product, a service, somewhere that you can post things, something that's free. Free advertising is gold, right? And so make sure you list all of it so that you've got an organised set of notes rather than what I sometimes do, and that's a million post-it notes. Mind you, you can stick post-it notes in there. So this will be cherished, okay? You'll probably get a series of them over the years, but to start off with, what are the best websites? Who are the best people to call to get help and answers from? Okay, next, I had a different textbook, but it went out of print for a while, and it was by Penny Simpkin, and I absolutely love that textbook. But I've replaced it with this one instead. It's readily available. Otherwise, it holds up whether I can post out the doula kits or not, and these ones are readily available. So this is the original doula textbook. It's called the Doula Book, and it's done by Klaus and Kennel. Klaus and Kennel. So it was a couple of husband and wife teams, paediatrician doctors, and they were the very first people to bring doula care, so doula, D-O-U-L-A, which is a Greek term meaning handmaiden to the woman or giving service to the woman. And in this case, of course, the woman is the pregnant mother, the labouring mother, the brand new mother. So it's interesting, if you've had a look at the videos that I've sent out to you on email, you will have seen their video explaining the history, and you will have recognised these names from that video. And it's explaining that originally the doulas that we had were for mothers after they've had their baby. And if you've had a baby, you know, oh God, yes, you definitely need a lot of help. And the sort of help is somebody to hold my baby while I go and have a shower, somebody to guide me through breastfeeding, somebody to go and fetch food, somebody to gather up things for me, pads, fresh clean undies and a fresh bra and a fresh nightie and things like that. I mean, honestly, the list is endless. Why did I even begin to try and list those things, right? So that's actually where it began, that mothers needed help after the birth. And they said, wow, these doulas are so helpful, awesome, wonderful, but we need them during the birth. And now let's backdate it to during the pregnancy as well, where women need a lot of emotional support and ideas and help with their birth plan and guidance, and their partner needs support as well. So the modern day doula starts earlier in the pregnancy, travels the whole way through the pregnancy, holding the woman's hand, guiding her through, and then of course by her side during the labour and the birth, and then more than likely afterwards as well. So it's really unique. So this book explains a lot of those things, shows you the ancient ideas, the history of how doulas have progressed. Having this as your background reading is awesome. It helps you to be able to explain things better to people, and it's just beautiful to know the origins, and it does give you a lot of good ideas as well. Now, very, very modern is this. If you've seen some other videos that I've done previously, you will have seen Preparing for Birth Mothers, and it would have looked different to this. So this is the latest updated version, written by Jane Palmer, a midwife, and Andrea Robertson. And they have done an awesome job, and there's a lot in here. Now, the particular page that I want to direct you to that I feel is important is page 50 and onwards, and it's all about medical interventions and medications. What is it? How is it done? Why is it done? When is it done? What are the advantages for the mother and the baby, and what are the disadvantages for the mother and the baby? So a doula definitely needs to be very well informed on all of that. Now, the specific area that I want you to use this for is in your workbook, which I'll show you in a moment. In the workbook, it'll explain, or it'll ask you a series of questions to do with medical interventions. How can a doula help a woman who is having an epidural? And what I want you to do as you answer those questions is think, what would I want if I was having a baby and I had an epidural? What would I want from my doula? What attitude, what ideas, what guidance, both before the epidural is inserted and then during it and then afterwards as well. So I want you to think that through, but of course you need to be informed, don't you, to be really able to think through the answers to that. Anyway, this book is going to be a terrific help to you. It is Australian. Now let's say you're reading this book but you find some different information or even conflicting information on the internet. This is correct. If you're in Australia, this is correct. If it's on the internet, maybe it's a rubbish website, or maybe it's American or another country where it's actually not the way that we do things here. So the latest updated book for you. And then here is the book that I've written. So this is the Birth Doula training course, and the idea is that you open up this plastic cover and you write your name and your details on the front there. You'll actually fill this out. You'll post it back to me, and that's how I know who owns this book. Then I'm able to address your envelope to send this back to you. You get to keep all your work, and I go through it, I check it, mark it, add notes to it. Then I write up your certificate. Yay, you say. And then, of course, I post this back to you with your certificate. Now, in the book, what's important in here? In the book, you will find areas for you to fill in answers. So I have question-answer format in the book to keep it really straightforward and logical and simple. And where you can see I've asked a question and then I've left several lines, that's what I expect as an answer for that question. You don't need to do 6 pages on that question. That's all. I just need to know that you get it. So you can do point form if you want to. Now, where there might be a question that requires a whole page of an answer, let's see if I can find one of those quickly. Wouldn't you know I can't? Hang on, there'll be a question here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't find it. Well, nearly. So you can see that this is a bigger chunk to answer, but you will also see other pages where there's a question at the top and then a whole page of lines. So what I'm expecting is a lot of an answer there. The other thing I'd really love you to know is to ask yourself the questions as you're reading through it. Read the question. Be careful not to jump to a conclusion about that question. Oh, I know what she's asking me, and jump to a conclusion. Yeah, that's what that's about. Stop, read the question again, and just be very careful to think about the question. What's the question really asking you? And then go ahead and answer the question. Now, if you get stuck on anything, just ring me, just text me, and just say, Jules, I got stuck on this, or I got stuck on that, or help with an exclamation mark. If I'm actually teaching a prenatal class that day, then of course I can't answer the phone, and it's usually on a Saturday or a Sunday. But otherwise, yeah, of course I will. I'll answer the phone, I'll help you straight away, or I'll ring you back, or I'll text you back. So please always feel 100% welcome to reach out to me. Here is the postnatal doula training course workbook, and this is another book that I've worked hard to pull together. So I've been a doula for 35 years, and what I've done is poured my knowledge into these 2 books. So again, peel back the plastic cover, and it's exactly the same story with this book as with the other book. Fill out all of the answers. Try to be careful not to miss any pages. If you can see, as there is at the front of this, some same questions that are in the other book, just write down, I've already answered those questions in the previous book. That only doubles up on 1 or 2 pages, so don't worry about it. I've put in a lot of extra information in this one because you will need to receive a lot of information to be able to answer it. You'll also discover that the emails, I've sent out about a dozen emails to you, which will match up with these books. So I've done a copy and paste of the links, the websites that are going to be the most useful, and I've held your hand as much as I possibly can. But if you need extra help, just simply contact me. I think it's actually a good idea to flick through both of these books before you even begin. So don't get overwhelmed, don't be too tired before you start, but flick through as if they're a magazine, and you're just mildly interested. And then if you see something you think, wow, that's actually really significant, put a little post-it note. And I tell you what, on page 123 in the Birth Doula workbook is a table. So 123, there it is. So 123, and on this table, this is going to be a massive help to you, is what the woman's experiencing in labour, how she's feeling, what she can do to help herself, and then the final column is what the doula can do to help her. So it's 123, 124 and 125. It's pre-labour, early labour, late active labour, advanced labour, and then second stage and third stage. Second stage, the pushing phase, and third stage, the delivery of the placenta, and of course bonding and the first breastfeed. So the sort of thing that a doula can do during the bonding phase is take beautiful photos of mum and baby, mum breastfeeding baby, mum looking at the baby, mum and dad and baby. And so there's a lot of ideas that I've got there for you, and those 3 pages will help you enormously to answer many of the other questions. And this is the sort of thing that a doula needs to memorise. Now, when you first start off, of course, there's no way you're going to memorise all of this. So photocopy it or rip them out, get them laminated, throw them in your doula bag, and then you'll have them as an awesome resource as well. Have I got anything else in here? I think I do. Aha. So this is my current brochure about my classes. Isn't that a beautiful picture of a lovely pregnant couple on the front? And so whenever you're doing advertising and marketing, always look at it from your client's point of view. The client doesn't want to see a picture of me on the front. They want to see a picture of a beautiful pregnant couple that they can relate to. And when I choose a picture, for example, with all of my website and anything else, when I choose a picture of a pregnant couple, I always say to my website creator or the creative person, it needs to be a photo that looks as if he is really into her. He loves her. And they're the photos that I want, because that's exactly what a client wants to see. So there's my transition into parenthood details, Doula Academy, and on the back, mindful hypnobirth. Anyway, I've included that for you. That's my current brochure. Guess what? I'm going to do a new video. And I'm going to do that next, and it's going to be all about the epi-no. Epi-no stands for episiotomy no, and if you're not sure what an episiotomy is, it's the use of scissors, surgical scissors, to cut the vagina to enlarge the opening. So most people, after they hear what an episiotomy is, they go, no. And that's exactly how the obstetrician felt. He did not like cutting episiotomies, so he developed this device. So it's to... There you are. Have a look at that. It's to pre-stretch the vagina gently and slowly in readiness for giving birth. So it's a brilliant idea to avoid stitches, avoid being cut, avoid tearing, and it is also a pelvic floor trainer. So I'm going to do another video on that separately. That'll come up onto our collective Facebook page as well. So I'm popping that brochure in, and you can contact that company and get more details. So that is what is in your kit, and it was lovely having a chat to you. Welcome.